Hello and welcome to another edition of TSL Talk, and we're luckily again joined by the ABC's finest, Damien McIver, feeling a little bit fresher I think than this time last week.
Just a touch, yeah.
I guess mate, another round is done and dusted. What did you take out of the weekend's action?
A couple of things. Great effort by Devonport. Not sure what to make of Burnie. I mean, great effort. Devonport still lost the game. We shouldn't be too patronising in this, but their increased competitiveness this year, I think, is a real plus both for them and the competition. Worrying signs for Burnie, especially not just the way they played, but at the tribunal as well, with Vin Ponsonby up on a couple of charges. And the other game that I took particular interest in, I was at the game, Lauderdale playing North Hobart. North Hobart looked like they were going to be the team that we thought they were for the first couple of quarters at least. They really threw down the challenge, and then I think a tremendous testament to Lauderdale's maturity that they fought back from that. They weathered the storm and then ran away to a pretty convincing win.
Yeah, I was down there too, and it was just a big tale of two halves, wasn't it? I mean, at half time it looked like Lauderdale were gone the way that North Hobart were playing, but does it say more about Lauderdale and their ability to come back, do you think, or North Hobart and their, I guess, continued woes at being unable to put four quarters together?
I reckon it probably ticks both of those boxes. Lance Spalding has said a few times that the biggest challenge for his team is to play four quarters. They played two, and they were on top, well on top of what we regard as a pretty good side in Lauderdale. And then from Lauderdale's point of view, I think it's another step in their development. It's become a pretty tough place for visiting teams, Lauderdale Oval. I mean, they've always made it difficult for teams down there, but they're just ruthless at the moment. And that second half, especially in the third quarter, I mean, they didn't kick straight, but North Hobart couldn't get it out of their defensive 50. It was just relentless. So really good win. I think the coach, I imagine you had a few words to say at half-time, Windy. I reckon by the end of the game, the spirits had changed quite a bit.
Yeah, his tone definitely had changed from what I heard at half-time to the end of the game, and here is Darren Winter on a couple of words that he had to say after that win.
Look, I just talked to Marcus Fitz, and he was saying he thought that was our best win by a mile. I rate North Hobart. I think they're a really good team, and to come back and do that, I think was a character building for the team.
And I suppose another talking point that came out of the game was another report on Zane Murphy. Now, he has got off this one, but as Lance Spalding said as well, it's starting to become a worrying trend that his frustrations do seem to boil over, and he's finding himself in trouble probably too frequently.
Yeah, fair call, and I reckon opposition clubs know that. I mean, he comes across as a player that enjoys the needle. I mean, he was certainly instigating a lot of it on the weekend, especially in the first half when the Demons were flying. But if you can't control it, which it seems like he may have a problem with, then he might have to rethink that strategy. Look, he's got off, so maybe he's dodged a bullet there, but all clubs, you're right, will be looking at that and thinking if we put a hard tag on him, and especially the Demons are struggling, they can't afford to have him missing games through suspension. So I think Lance is right, it is a worrying sign.
Very true. And on Friday night we saw Glenorchy sort of inflict more pain on Hobart with the crushing win under lights out at KG5. Where do you see Glenorchy? They were sort of ragdolled a bit by Lauderdale 2 weeks ago. They've beaten up on the easy beats at the moment of the competition, but they face a true test this weekend in Clarence. Yeah,
look, they've been very up and down, and Clarence is going to be a huge test. I don't think they're quite at that stage yet where they can challenge a young group. I think they're doing what they should, beating teams like Hobart. They come up against Lauderdale, they get bossed around, and that'll be the focus for them this week against Clarence. Regardless of the result, it'll be the way they go about it. They can't be intimidated physically, and I'm sure from Clarence's point of view, that's exactly what they'll be trying to do.
The Roos coming off a win of their own against North Launceston. I think it was 5 goals, 6 goals in the end, so I think North Launceston do as they do, sort of match them for a little bit of period, but probably just haven't got that elite class, that next level just to get over the line.
Must be frustrating because they never really get blown away, North Launceston, but they just don't seem to quite have it, and then when they play games that we think they should win, they somehow find a way to lose. So hard to say where they're at, but yeah, look, Clarence still unbeaten, still looking pretty good.
And the final game of the weekend saw Launceston account for South Launceston fairly easily. Probably another big talking point here, though, of course, was the broken leg to South Launceston's leader in Mitch Thorpe, which is a crushing blow, really. They've shown such good progress in the first sort of third of the season. Now, he said the other day that it might only be a month. It could be a season, we're not too sure yet, but disappointing, isn't it, when you get, a star of the comp and a guy who's leading the club in the right direction and he goes down?
Yeah, it certainly is, and they've had no luck with injuries. I mean, we saw last year, obviously, completely different playing group, but the players that they couldn't afford to get injured in Mitch Hills went down, so be a real test for them. They don't want to throw away the good work they've done so far because that 5th spot is still well and truly up for grabs, but yeah, huge challenge. And yeah, I thought from Launceston's point of view, I reckon it'll be interesting to see where they go in the next few weeks. The size of that win and looking through the players that played well and who was kicking goals, I reckon, yeah, they might start to gather some momentum in the coming month.
Yeah, it looks like they're starting to get their, their Premier players back, their Premiership players, and I think they might just be hitting their straps at the right time of the year for them, I guess. So,
absolutely.
Yes, well, Damien, thanks very much for your time as always.
No worries.
And remember, for all your news and previews, you can head to the Mercury online or get your copy of the Mercury.